Days with Frog and Todd. Tomorrow. Todd woke up. Drat, he said. This house is a mess. I have so much work to do. Frog looked through the window. Todd, you're right, said Frog. It is a mess. Todd pulled the covers over his head. I'll do it tomorrow, said Todd. Today, I will take life easy. Frog came into the house. Todd, said Frog, your pants and jacket are lying on the floor. Tomorrow, said Todd, from under the covers. Your kitchen sink is filled with dirty dishes, said Frog. Tomorrow, said Todd. There is dust on your chairs. Tomorrow, said Todd. Your windows need scrubbing, said Frog. Your plants need watering. Tomorrow, cried Todd. I will do it all tomorrow. 다 내일 한다니까? 그래요. Todd sat on the edge of his bed. Blah, said Todd. I feel down in the dumps. Why? asked Frog. I'm thinking about tomorrow, said Todd. I'm thinking about all of the many things that I will have to do, said Frog. Tomorrow will be a very hard day for you. But Frog, said Todd, if I pick my pants and jacket right now, then I will not have to pick them up tomorrow, will I? No, said Frog. You will not have to. Todd picked up his clothes. He put them in the closet. Frog, said Todd, if I wash my dishes right now, then I will not have to wash them tomorrow, will I? No, said Frog. You will not have to. Todd washed and dried his dishes. He put them in the cupboard. Frog, said Todd, if I dust my chairs and scrub my windows and water my plants right now, then I will not have to do it tomorrow, will I? No, said Frog, you will not have to do any of it. Todd dusted his chairs, he scrubbed his windows, he watered his plants. There, said Todd. Now I feel better. I'm not in the dumps anymore. Why? asked Frog. Because I have done all the work, said Todd. Now I can save tomorrow for something that I really want to do. What is that? asked Frog. Tomorrow, said Todd, I can just take life easy. Todd went back to bed. He pulled the covers over his head and fell asleep. 내일 할 일을 오늘 다 하고 나니까 내일은 푹 쉴 수 있대요. The kite. Frog and Todd went out to fly a kite. They went to a large wet meadow where the wind was strong. Our kite will fly up and up, said Frog. It will fly all the way up to the top of the sky. Todd, said Frog, I will hold the ball of string, you hold the kite and run. Todd ran across the meadow. He ran as fast as his short legs could carry him. The kite went up in the air. It fell to the ground with a bump. Todd heard laughter. 3 robins were sitting in a bush. That kite will not fly, said the robins. You may as well give up. Todd ran back to Frog. Frog, said Todd, this kite will not fly. I give up. We must make a second try, said Frog. Wave the kite over your head. Perhaps that will make it fly. Todd ran back across the meadow. He waved the kite over his head. The kite went up in the air and then fell down with a thud. What a joke, said the robins. That kite will never get off the ground. 막 놀려요. Todd ran back to Frog. This kite is a joke, he said. It will never get off the ground. We have to make a third try, said Frog. Wave the kite over your head and jump up and down. Perhaps that will make it fly. Todd ran across the meadow again. He waved the kite over his head. He jumped up and down. The kite went up in the air and crashed down into the grass. That kite is junk, said the robins. Throw it away and go home. Todd ran back to Frog. This kite is junk, he said. I think we should throw it away and go home. Todd, said Frog, we need one more try. Wave the kite over your head. Jump up and down and shout, Up, kite, up! Todd ran across the meadow. He waved the kite over his head. He jumped up and down. He shouted, Up, kite, up! Up, kite, up! The kite flew into the air. It climbed higher and higher. We did it! cried Todd. Yes, said Frog. If a running try did not work, and a running and waving try did not work, and a running, waving, and jumping try did not work, I knew that a running, waving, jumping, and shouting try just had to work. The robins flew out of the bush, but they could not fly as high as the kite. Frog and Todd sat and watched their kite. It seemed to be flying way up at the top of the sky. 뭐든 열심히 노력하면 될 수 있다는 교훈을 얻었네요. Shivers. The night was cold and dark. Listen to the wind howling in the trees, said Frog. What a fine time for a ghost story. Todd moved deeper into his chair. Todd, asked Frog, don't you like to be scared? Don't you like to feel the shivers? I'm not too sure, said Todd. Frog made a fresh pot of tea. He sat down and began a story. When I was small, said Frog, my mother and father and I went out for a picnic. On the way home, we lost our ways. My mother was worried. We must get home, she said. We do not want to meet the old dark frog. Who is that? I asked. A terrible ghost, said father. He comes out at night and eats little frog children for supper. Todd sipped his tea. Frog, he said, are you making this up? Maybe yes and maybe no, said Frog. 이거 지어낸 얘기지? 그러는 거예요. 너무 무서워서. My mother and father went to search for a path, said Frog. They told me to wait until they came back. I sat under a tree and waited. The woods became dark. I was afraid. Then I saw two huge eyes. It was the old dark frog. He was standing near me. Frog, asked Todd, did this really happen? Maybe it did, and maybe it didn't, said Frog. Frog went on with the story. The dark frog pulled a jump rope out of his pocket. I'm not hungry now, said the dark frog. I have eaten too many tasty frog children, but after I jump rope 100 times, I will be hungry again. Then I will eat you. The dark frog tied one end of the rope to a tree. Turn for me, he shouted. I turned the rope for the dark frog. He jumped 20 times. I'm beginning to get hungry, said the dark frog. He jumped 50 times. I'm getting hungrier. said the dark frog. He jumped 90 times. I am very hungry now, said the dark frog. What happened then? Asked Todd. I had to save my life, said Frog. I ran around and around the tree with the loop. I tied up the old dark frog. He roared and screamed. I ran away fast. I found my mother and father, said Frog. We came safely home. Frog, asked Todd, was that a true story? Maybe it was, and maybe it wasn't, said Frog. Frog and Todd sat close by the fire. They were scared. The teacups shook in their hands. They were having the shivers. It was a good, warm feeling. The hat. On Todd's birthday, Frog gave him a hat. Todd was delighted. Happy birthday, said Frog. Todd put on the hat. It fell down over his eyes. I'm sorry, said Frog. That hat is much too big for you. I will give you something else. No, said Todd. This hat is your present to me. I like it. I will wear it the way it is. Frog and Todd went for a walk. Todd tripped over a rock. He bumped into a tree. He fell in a hole. Frog, said Todd, I can't see anything. I will not be able to wear your beautiful present. This is a sad birthday for me. Frog and Todd were sad for a while. Then Frog said, Todd, here is what you must do. Tonight, when you go to bed, you must think some very big thoughts. Those big thoughts will make your head grow larger. In the morning, your new head may fit. 뭔가 큰 생각을 하면 머리가 커져서 모자가 꼭 맞을지도 모른다네요. What a good idea, said Todd. That night, when Todd went to bed, he thought the biggest thoughts that he could think. Todd thought about giant sunflowers. He thought about tall oak trees. He thought about high mountains covered with snow. Then Todd fell asleep. Frog came into Todd's house. He came in quietly. Frog found that hat and took it to his house. Frog poured some water on the hat. He put the hat in a warm place to dry. It began to shrink. That hat grew smaller and smaller. Frog went back to Todd's house. Todd was still fast asleep. Frog put the hat back on the hook where he found it. When Todd woke up in the morning, he put the hat on his head. It was just the right size. Todd ran to Frog's house. Frog, Frog, he cried. All those big thoughts have made my head much larger. Now I can wear your present. Frog and Todd went for a walk. Todd did not trip over a rock. He did not bump into a tree. He did not fall in a hole. It turned out to be a very pleasant day for Todd's birthday. 프로그가 그 모자를 쥐어준 줄 모르죠. Alone, Todd went to Frog's house. He found a note on the door. The note said, Dear Todd, I'm not at home. I went out. I want to be alone. Alone? said Todd. Frog has me for a friend. Why does he want to be alone? Todd looked through the windows. He looked in the garden. He did not see Frog. 프로그가 혼자 있고 싶대요. Todd went to the woods. Frog was not there. He went to the meadow. Frog was not there. Todd went down to the river. There was Frog. He was sitting on an island by himself. Poor frog, said Todd. He must be very sad. I will cheer him up. Todd ran home. He made sandwiches. He made a pitcher of iced tea. He put everything in a basket. 프로그가 슬퍼 보여서 달래주려나 봐요. Todd hurried back to the river. Frog, he shouted, it's me. It's your best friend, Todd. Frog was too far away to hear.